Yeah, chat room. What's up, guys? Hello, hello. Whoa. All right. So now that that's done, let me mute the desktop audio so you guys don't hear the movie. Welcome to a live commentary of Resident Evil Extinction. The last live commentary was for Apocalypse, and that was back in August. So with a commentary comes a review. So you might be like, Anthony, where the hell is the Extinction review? Well, it is coming. Essentially, I'm in the middle of editing the last show that I did, so there'll be a show, and then I'll do like a movie review show, which will be, of course, on Resident Evil Extinction. We'll talk about the movie, stuff like that. I haven't decided what kind of format I'm going to be doing with that, considering it's just me. But I'm going to, figure it out and try to review it in the best way possible, I guess. But commentaries are always fun. Always good to go back to. Let's just shout out people that are in the chat. We got King Shadow. We got Mr. Patriot. We got Jin. We got Wiz. He's ready. He said, hope everyone's doing good. Noble Dave's here. He's got his snacks. He's ready. Eamon is hanging out. Mr. Patriot. So, yeah, the regulars are in here, which is awesome. We got 28 people in here, 22 likes. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. Let me just get this queued up here, because I want to record this as well with the audio, because this will be uploaded on the digital platforms, because the commentary will go up with everything else. All right. Stuff out of the way here. Check, 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 check. All right. So basically what we're going to do, what's up, Rambo Raff for life? He's hanging out here. What's up, Rambo? Good to see you here, man. I really enjoyed your Matrix rant. That was awesome. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there with how I feel about that film. Oh, man. You were right, though. You were right in your trailer reaction, you know? It's funny how sometimes, like, we do that thing, too, where sometimes we'll be like, oh, yeah, you know, this, and this in our trailer reaction, and then no one will believe us. And then when it finally happens, they're just like, should have listened. And some people just don't, you know? But yeah, so we're basically going to be watching Resident Evil Extinction. So if you have the DVD, the Blu-ray, the 4K, get it queued up now. Get it ready. If you have it digitally, whatever the hell people use to watch movies now. So now I got to pull it up on my end here. It's got it on my PC here. All right. Cool. So that's pulled up. This on 4K actually looks really good. Believe it or not, like on the 4K set. I've already watched it once on the 4K set, so. Doing well. Been catching up on your streams, watching your Gaiden and Resident Evil 1. Going through the Legacy stream. Good, great stuff. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun, man. That was definitely a really fun, you know, time on the channel and stuff like that, because it was just us kind of riding the hype for, you know, the Resident Evil 3 remake train. For me, that's like my favorite game is Resident Evil 3, the original. So that was just like a really special time for us to kind of go through everything and also kind of get refreshed on a lot of that stuff, because now if I'm going to be going back and reviewing some of those games in a more like professional way, in a different kind of produced video, I'll have kind of an updated, you know, refresher on it, because it kind of gave me a revamp on some of those games that, you know, I haven't beaten in years, especially like Gaiden and, you know, Dead Aim and like all like the weird ones, you know. So yeah, it's just like there's so much shit that you could sometimes forget because the franchise is so damn, you know, there's so many damn entries and there's so many, you know, releases. Jin with the 50 try says 2022. Bless up. Thank you, Jin, for the first donation of 2022. That's awesome. I appreciate that. As you guys know, you know, I dedicate my income to essentially just content creation and streaming. So anything's appreciated. I appreciate that. When you do commentaries, live ones like this, do you prefer questions related strictly to the movie or anything Resident Evil related? I figured I would ask first. Oh no, I appreciate that, man. I guess questions, I guess related to the movie. I mean, it doesn't have to be strictly to the movie. It could be anything Resident Evil related. You know, like maybe something that would be film related, I guess, because there's a lot of like game lore and film lore. So, you know, I think that's like a one way to kind of put that in there. Where's the girth crisis? Oh my god. Well, Dino Crisis is I don't know. Where is girth crisis, right? Where is the Dino Crisis? What's up, Sir Juan Thomas? All right. So I have my movie queued up here. I'm going to move everything over here. But yeah, so like any questions you guys want to ask in relation to any kind of RE film stuff, it's all good. It's all welcome. And let me just get this. Happy New Year, Quentin. Just waiting for some people to get in here and get their stuff ready. Resident Evil Extinction has some of the best zombie makeup out of. I agree in some ways because like they look very like, you know, very very aged and worn, like they've been around for a while. Okay, I just gotta switch over a little audio thing, and this is my first time doing a live commentary like this actually, so that's why I think like the way I'm gonna see how I want to do stuff. I might change it. If I do more. This is kind of like a test to see if people like it. But it was gonna happen anyway, and I figured, well, I need to do a live stream, and this is kind of long overdue. All this stuff was supposed to be done before Welcome to Raccoon City, but it didn't really work out that way. So I was like, all right, well, let's just figure it out, make it work, and let me just skip through all this bull crap in the menus here. Yeah, that's the one thing I do kind of like. They do kind of remind me of Day of the Dead zombies a little bit. And of course, they stole and ripped the direct zombie, bub. They ripped that off, Rambo says, the movie where Alice becomes a Jedi Master and the world is a desert, even though the next movie, the world is not a desert. Yes. For some reason, everything goes back to normal, and there's just like, the Earth doesn't look like a, like a, I don't even know, like a fucking Mad Max fucking, world, because that's kind of what it is. It's like Mad Max, mixed with Day of the Dead, mixed with, Okay, so I have this at 0, and in my opinion, before we start, this is like one of the ones that I actually like before it tampers off. I think after this film, when it went for the fucking ready? Wow, 3D is when they kind of went sideways. They lost like track of the horror shit, and they didn't really like they tried to like up the action, and the action was already raised in Apocalypse, right? So I understand that these were never strictly horror films, but they just made it like laughably bad, I guess. I don't even know. Like Afterlife is just like, it starts to take a nosedive, and I realized that watching these years later. So this one is the one that like I'm like, okay, this is the last one I actually like mentioning, because I it's not like these are perfect films, of course. The only one I could tolerate is the first Resident Evil film. The other is just not for me at all. Yeah. So that's the thing. So like for me, this one is like the last one that I actually enjoyed without like any. I mean, there's still issues with it, and I'll talk about that. A lot of them has to do with the BOWs and the Tyrant specifically, and the Dr. Isaacs that isn't actually Dr. Isaacs, but you find that out later because he's a fucking clone. But that's again, Paul Anderson likes his fucking clones. So, but okay. So let me start recording this here. And on my end, and if you guys have your DVDs or Blu-ray set on 0, however you want to watch it, get it ready. It's right before the Screen Gems logo. Let me see. All right. So welcome to the Resident Evil Extinction commentary. And if you're listening to this, you're either watching it live or you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Libsyn, all that good stuff. We're going to start at 0, 0, right before the red Screen Gems logo appears, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Screen Gems logo. It is spinning. It's still spinning, and it just stopped. Music's hitting. Now we're seeing the Davis films just faded out into Constantine films. Just trying to give little cues here so you guys can line it up. But yeah, this movie is, again, when they started to change it up a little bit, they started to add more of the whole clone thing, which I always thought was silly. I mean, I never really think that clones are, I don't know, like, I just think the way that they used it by the final chapter is just, like, embarrassing. Where it didn't really make sense. It just felt like they phoned it in. And if you want to hear me fucking rant, then the final chapter is the movie. Because that is, like, the biggest mess I think I've ever seen on screen for a video game movie. But it's still not as bad as Welcome to Raccoon City. I don't know. Look at Alice. Or at least we think this is Alice. Come to find out, this will be one of many Alice. Multiple Alice. And there'll be multiple Dr. Isaac, because why not? The one thing that we wanted to see as fans, I remember when I saw this in the theater. I saw this at the good old Acco Multiplex back in 2007 when it was still around. And, I would go see these opening weekend or opening day every single weekend because I was a fan. The weekends that they opened, you had to be there. Even if you knew that they were kind of bad, it was weird, right? It's a weird feeling when you're a Resident Evil fan and you get these movies that aren't necessarily what you want, but you're just kind of there to deal with it. But it's funny how even when they have something good, they always kind of mess it up. And this film kind of started that a little bit. The one thing that the fans wanted to see was the Tyrant, because we never got the Tyrant in the first one. It was like a big-ass fucking liquor, and while that was cool, we did get Nemesis in Apocalypse, which I thought was justified. I think Nemesis having his own film is what it should be. There's a little door opening shot there, which is kind of cool. And the laser room, which is probably the most iconic scene in the film franchise, and it's so iconic that they ended up using it in Resident Evil 4, which is when the movies started to influence the games a little bit. But does this Alice have what it takes? What's up, King Shadow? I'm watching the movie via reflection of the poster frame. Yeah, I know. You can see it right here. Shouldn't get copyrighted, right? Maybe if I just go, boop. But yeah, I obviously can't have the movie on here for obvious reasons. Can't show the film. I use a reflection to sync up the movie. All good. That will be a little syncer reflector right there. I'll give little timestamps too during it as more people come in if they need to time it up. They could have had the first film as 10 minutes opening to Apocalypse, which should have starred Jill. Yeah, well, that's the biggest problem with Apocalypse. I talked about that in the review, is that, not enough Jill because Alice is Alice, and they got to, focus that. They got to focus on that. And bam, Alice is dead. Or at least a version of Alice. Because once we see this right here, we know that this motherfucker is still here doing experiments. Now, he's not a bad actor, he's actually pretty good. It's just like he's not a good tyrant, and what they do with the tyrant is pretty offensive in this film. If fake Alice succeeded in this scene, what was their plan? Yeah, no, exactly. Like, would they actually be able to just stop them anyway? Yeah, and you know it's funny. I didn't realize this, but apparently they got a divorce this year. So Paul Anderson and Mila Jovovich are no longer a couple, which means I think Monster Hunter might be the last film that they were actually together in. I did check out the fan remake, Quentin. That was pretty cool. And Bodies of Alice. It's almost like deep down inside they know that they're not gonna get the right one. You know, like nothing is as good as the real Alice that is still on the escape. But what pisses me off about the beginning of this film is how it translates with the end of Apocalypse. Because at the end of Apocalypse, you could tell that they still have control over her via satellite, but I guess they just lose track of her, and within that, the whole world goes fucking extinct, and it's like it's a whole desert. So it's just very strange. Like they didn't really continue it right where I thought they would have. I remember seeing it in the theater, and I was like, where is Jill? Why isn't Jill in this? And they don't explain it at all. And that will become a common theme later when they disregard Chris and everything like that. And here, she tries to explain it right here. And this will all be changed in the next 3 films. It began to wither and die, just like my career. Natalie, what's up? Hope you're doing well. RWK says, hey, is the RE7 document file book worth getting? Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. That's always pretty cool. The plot changes every movie. Alice's final chapter was the Red Queen or something like that. Yeah, you're right. Literally, Alice was made from an older version of herself. So they had old fucking Mila Jovovich sitting there like, this is, I am Mother Mila Jovovich. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're telling me that Alice isn't Alice? Alice is a clone from an older version of herself that is the actual Red Queen? Like, you can tell they planned none of that shit in the beginning. And they just were, like, grasping for fucking, shit. Every movie is a retcon. Yeah, it's fucking weird. Where did you hear about their divorce? If you just look it up online, it's there. If you look it up on like Wikipedia or whatever, and they have a little thing about it, you can even look it up. But they're separated. They are divorced. Blue Bomber. Director of Highlander did this. Russell Mulcahy. Mulcahy. I can't even say that. Yeah, so it's funny because my 2 like preferred films, I guess. I mean, some people like the first film over the 2, but yeah, Paul did not direct Apocalypse or this, which, I did like these sequels, so I don't know. Please help my baby. I would not even trust it even if I fucking heard it on the radio. Fuck that. Fuck that. You dropped my baby. Oof. Dead. Immediately dead. Do I think Zack Snyder could save Ari as a movie? No. I don't think anyone could save it other than like a fan and someone who's not trying to fucking do 2 movies in one. Favorite character is the guy who can tell what's in the food by shaking it. Oh yeah, yeah. No, he's cool. Gruesome says, "Welcome to Raccoon City will probably get a sequel now, doing well on demand apparently." Well, I don't think it's gonna get a sequel, but yep, there is a reflection in the poster here, so if you want to use it to sync it up, you can. Right now, I'm at 12:10, 12:11, 12:13. Or, yeah. How many years has it been for people to turn into mutant ravages Mad Max rejects? See, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking weird because it doesn't even make sense that, like, they don't, like, tell you the year timeline. Because we know Raccoon City is supposed to take place in 1998, but there's never, like, a year-by-year thing in these movies. It just, like, happens, and then time passes, and it's like, you know, oof. What's up, Wiz? Yeah, I'm doing a new video on Welcome to Raccoon City. It's going to be funny. I think you guys will like it. Look at these dogs. These dogs still look better than Welcome to Raccoon City. At least the dogs in these movies actually looked like real dogs, you know? And I like them here because they're all, like, burned and shit. They look like barbecue dogs. And, of course, that works out in her favor entirely. So she can escape. This on 4K does look really good, though, especially the desert and stuff like that. All right, and we got the convoy scene with the copyrighted music. Are you sure Paul knows this was supposed to take place in 98? Yeah, no, I don't expect him to know such things. Introduction to Claire and Kmart. Now, Claire in this actually looks better than the Claire in The Welcome to Raccoon City, in my opinion. I think Ali Larter is, you know, cute as fuck in this film. Just not really a great representation of Claire because, again, we're seeing Claire here, not in Raccoon City. And then when we see her with Chris in the next film, which we'll get to, I'll rant about that. Otto. Damn. Talk about fucking quitting cigarettes. That's how you do it. Try to smoke an apocalypse. What's up, Shadow Man? We got our fellow YouTube members in here. Thanks for coming out. He probably would. He'd be like, "Oh, that's He's like, "Oh, Daymare, I love Resident Evil. Isn't Leon in this?" You know. And here we go. Introduction of Wesker. This guy doesn't do anything in this film, and he is replaced. They're talking about cigarettes. You got any ciggies? Now, Carlos, I think, smokes a J at the end. Yes. But that's LJ. Just look at this Wesker. He's so fucking stupid. He looks so out of place. And by the time he gets recasted, you know, he looks entirely different. Yeah, that I respect. He has one last toke. Oh no, I know, bro. I know. Carlos knows. Carlos is like, you know what? I gotta drive this truck into a bunch of fucking zombies. And they're not even there. They're fucking holograms. This meeting is adjourned. I have a useless fucking role in this film. Sheva is not in these films. Sheva. Sheva. Yeah, Sheva's not in these films. Goodbye, Stevie. Peace out. Yeah, I think that was his goal. He probably saw Wesker and RE4 and was like, "Oh yeah, let's try to have him in the background," you know. Wesker just, yeah, he definitely looks like he just like crapped his pants. He doesn't even look like he's supposed to be there. I have not played RE4 VR. Do not own Oculus Quest. Oh, I remember when we made fun of you. Oh, yeah. Sheva. Sheva's the one and done, just like Helena and Jake and all the other characters that they don't want to bring back, you know? Oh, shit. This is interesting because, you know, she has the book, and this is when she finds out about Arcadia, which, of course, like, Arcadia is where they try to go in Alaska in Afterlife. So, here are the crows, which is probably the coolest scene in this film, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone can really deny that. The crow scene is pretty dope when it happens. It's a little slow at first. Yeah, it's like she really steals the main characters, like, Thunder, sometimes. So it's just, or all the time, I should say. Anytime she's, put in a scenario where we have our OG characters, are supposed to anyway. But again, because the Selena was, or Sienna was doing the, she was pregnant and she wasn't able to come back. But okay, well, let's not bring that up. Let's not talk about how, Jill isn't with us anymore, like a main fucking character, you know. So that was kind of weird. I always thought that was weird when I saw this. I was like, where is Jill? Why isn't she in this fucking movie? And this guy, it's so funny. I just kept calling him Leon the last time I saw this. I'm like, this is the Leon wannabe, the British Leon. Shit, he looks more like Leon than fucking Welcome to Raccoon City Leon. And this is when they fucked up. He's got his gold Desert Eagle still, LJ, which I still think is a great character, even though it's really just for comedic relief. Alice had no damn reason to take Jill's spotlight in Apocalypse when Nemesis was the only originally against S.T.A.R.S members. Yeah? And this is where LJ gets bit. Yeah, and like, they make her overpowered as fuck, and strictly to be like, okay, well, let's try to show her abilities, and it's like, yeah, but like, you have you have our other characters, right? Like the ones that are actually in the fucking games, like. But again, it's like a big jerk fest for fucking Paul Anderson. Why would you really split up? I feel like you would want to stay together, but it's like a fan writing a story that they make up a new character who befriends is better than. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's like they really could have just had more of the dynamic between, the OG characters, even in these films, and just kind of like, you know, turned it away from like the Alice thing. 'Cause that's why Apocalypse was almost right. It was almost good, but everything else got fucking really fucking just messed up. Zombie titty. And just like that, my man's is out. I'm leaving. You split up to die easier. Yeah, exactly. Just to be like, all right, let's kill off this, side character that we don't care about, even though he should have, at least lasted a little bit longer. They didn't call Marvin instead of LJ. Yeah, I know, right? It's fucking weird. Quentin, welcome to S.T.A.R.S. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And you now have the green name and you have the emojis. Spam the emojis as you please. And this is the great scene that is, a clear ripoff of Day of the Dead. Not necessarily, but it is at the same time. It is. Come on. We know where they got this from. The whole, testing to try to bring zombies back to a, human level memory, all that stuff. Been around for a bit, decided to join. Thank you, Quentin. I really enjoy watching Apocalypse. Yeah, I definitely like Apocalypse more than this film. Oh, spoke too soon. I like how it's just like, that's just how you expect Dr. Isaacs to act. Yeah, it's true, Natalie, but it just shows, I guess, he just didn't want to upset everyone, or I don't know. Is bone dry. This is my favorite, like, character right here, this fucking cowboy guy. It's bone dry. It's interesting, you know, to try to see what the characters will do in situations where, they're running low and stuff. This is more shit that you would actually see in The Walking Dead, to be honest with you. Not so much the desert, but the whole, like, running low on food, running low on resources, because the apocalypse has been going on for so long. But I feel like it would give you a better concept of time if they actually tried to, like, date these things, or, like, I don't know, tell you how much time has passed. I mean, it's not like the characters look that much older anyway. Not that they shot these a couple years apart, but. On a side note, I'm curious, have you done a podcast on either A, the original George Romero Resident Evil script, or B, the unmade game Resident Evil 1.5, 3.5? I was curious. I actually, so it's funny. I never did a podcast discussing the script of George Romero. I wanted to do like a script reading or a read through. I kind of wanted to do something bigger with it, but I never quite did it because it was like a lot. It would take a lot of time basically, and I put it on the back burner because everything that we're doing on the channel. But that's something that I am gonna do, and I would love to do because I do like that script. I know people still have problems with that script anyway, but again, to each his own. Like I thought it's a really cool time, and I don't think Capcom should have ever fired him. So I have my opinions about that. And then as far as the the 3.5 or 1.5. No, I haven't actually done shows on them. That's stuff like I would love to talk about. And do videos too, like shows and videos, because there's so much information. So like it would be really cool to do. And here's fake Leon sending out a distress signal. She's just chilling here in the fire. The cowboy is Lyndon Ashby, who played Johnny Cage in a 95 more. No shit! I didn't even know that. Holy shit. I guess it's hard to recognize him, but I did not know that. What happened to Dr. Ashford's daughter in the second movie? Again, Eamon, you bring up a great point, because that is another thing I forgot to talk about. The daughter is just gone. And you see her at the end of Apocalypse, but every time they start these movies, they seem to swipe something under the rug to not continue that story. Maybe they just thought that it was stupid to continue. Like, what purpose would she have now that her like father's dead? But you never get to see like her climb. But no, let's bring back Kmart and all these fucking useless characters. You know, it's very strange that it did that. Also, it's a Sony Vaio, so they got to let you know they own this movie. Yeah, I did not know that Lyndon Ashby was the fucking was the cowboy. Is all the end of Apocalypse when she literally fucking had psychic powers, and now this is all coming back. It's like, hey, just in case you didn't see it. Is it true that Capcom is remaking Outbreak? No. People want it, though. They are remaking 4. That's what I'm saying, Sony. Eagles Umbrella is the same series. Umbrella in this series. Every movie has upgraded Sony products as if the world is still going on. Yes. Because it doesn't matter, even if you're in the extinct world, you need to have the Sony product placement. It's essential. So yeah, we're not getting to the action yet. It's a little slower than Apocalypse, as you can tell. But this scene coming up is like a great little jump start to some kind of action going on here. This is with the crows. Yeah, exactly. You got to have some superhuman bullshit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here's Kmart. And we all saw the crows in the beginning of the first film up until this point. They didn't even do anything. This is the first time they're showing the... I do think this scene's kind of cool. So that little girl talking in hologram is a young Mila Jovovich based on the final chapter. Basically, yeah, it's like it was taken from like the real Alice, but none of that was actually like in this film. You know, the girl talking in the hologram is just the girl talking in the hologram. You could tell they didn't actually had all those breadcrumbs lead back to that dumbass explanation, but they're like, final chapter, we got to wrap this up. How can we connect it all back? Yeah, close that shit up. How does she know that? Damn. That bitch got them all killed. Yeah, the ambulance does say RC on it. Nice little touch. Oof. It's a bad spot to be in. It's like, all right, time to die. Betty's about to get fucking wrecked. And now this is when Alice notices where the fuck are all these birds going? Yeah, fake Leon, do it. She got everyone out, though. She did what she wanted to do. I love this guy. Ready? He tries, but... Damn, our boy died. Good old canned food guesser. Died just like that. Here's Carlos, though. And Alice is back. And this is a cool scene. You can see her eyes transform. Kills all the crows. Probably the best scene in the film, which was used in the TV spots and trailers and stuff like that. I would say this scene is probably my favorite, along with the crate scene. And you guys, we'll talk about that in a little bit when they go to Vegas and and they have to cowboys climbing the Eiffel Tower and everything. Crow logic, only go for the humans in the bus. Yeah, it's like they fixated on that bus just because the sound of the can, which wouldn't be the case. They'd fucking kill anything that they would see if they're, you know. Jedi powers unleashed, says Jin. That's right. And now he can trace this shit because he's like, ooh, impressive. Right. And so she left the Detroit facility in the last one. And then Carlos will kind of talk about it too. Be like, well, you left us and this, and this. And she's like, I had to. They were tracking me. So they do explain it. But I wish they showed it instead of explained it. It's like one of those things. Like, you guys could have shot a whole scene in the beginning instead of having her, like, walking through the desert and us wondering what the hell's happening. But. Yeah. It's like Umbrella's filled with sketchy people, so it's not like you could really fucking trust it anyway. Nowadays, no one knows the fuck Kmart is unless you went there. Now they're gone. Well, I hope you're enjoying the reflection watching, Eamon. That was kind of unintentional, but whatever. I don't think YouTube can flag me, so should be good. But if anyone wants to time up their stuff right now, I am at 44:25, 44:26, 44:27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3. They're saying their goodbyes to all the people they lost. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Like, what is their goal if the world is dead? Like, I guess they got what they wanted, but if their goal was to inevitably have Wesker kind of take over the world, which is kind of like what he wanted to do in this film, I really don't know. Just sell what they find for the 10 people that are alive. Exactly. It's like if someone was gonna, the only reason why they have, I guess, like, different people in different areas is just because I guess they had different umbrella facilities. But it's like, yeah, like, what else are they possibly waiting for at this point? Other than, we know Isaac's waiting for Alice, the real Alice, but everything else is like, it doesn't make sense why they would even say right there. She says, they're tracking me. I couldn't be around you. They had some what the fuck early ideas for Extinction. In one script draft, some monster would impregnate Alice clone in ending after she falls out of pod, and their offspring would be main monster in sequel. What the fuck? I mean, judging what they gave us, that wouldn't surprise me, but I'm happy they didn't do that. And they're still tracking her, so it clearly doesn't matter. Because, you know, for Umbrella in these films, it's like Alice is the one of their experiments that they need and that got away. First two movies are actually decent. The last four, you spend too much time trying to decide which one is worst. That's a good one, Len. That's a good one. Definitely the first two are the better ones, but I always kind of like this one. I don't know. It's not a great film though. It's not a great film. I'm a Jedi, bitch. Oh, that's how he does it. He just fucking reroutes the satellites, and now they can track her. So I guess she can't block him because he's like, I just rerouted it. Well, that's all Wesker does in this movie. He just points fingers and says, that's an order. And Claire is right. Claire is literally calling the fourth film right here. She literally just called it because Arcadia doesn't have anyone. No one actually goes there and allow. By the time they get there, in Afterlife, it's already gone. Claire has a fucking Jill Valentine chip on her chest from RE5 because that makes sense. It just jumps the gun past this point, and this was like when it started to tip over. What's up, Gary Garcia? That's what you think. I know your favorite original RE3, but where would you rank remake of 3? Top 5 or top 10? It's a good question. Remake of 3, I don't know if I would put on my top 10. It would be close, but I don't know if it'd be on my top 10. It's a good question. I'm going to eventually do some kind of like tier list video, which will be cool. So I'll try to rank everything and kind of explain why. But there's so many great original games, and with kind of like playing the Legacy series, I kind of have like but not to say it's bad, uh, because it's not on my top 10, but Surprised Alice isn't talking to Dario. Yeah, where the fuck is Dario? Dr. Isaac and his bosses wanted to create New World by the own taste, but it didn't come true. So it happened to Alice to recreate the world, and that antivirus killed zombies or made them alive again. I am curious as always. We gotta resupply this bitch. In the Vegas we go. I don't know why in this film, and my girlfriend said the same thing when we were watching this on 4K. Like, for some reason, Alice in this film is fucking airbrushed as shit. Like, she didn't need all that makeup. Like, she is pretty, attractive. She's not, like, ugly or anything. But it's like, why is she so airbrushed in this film? But it's not even like, it almost looks like a digital airbrush. Like, I don't know if it's something they, like, photoshopped in. But her face looked completely different in Apocalypse. But that's just like a little observation. That's an order. Dr. Isaac is just doing his own thing at this point. In the true Umbrella way. And now they're going to Vegas. Kyle's in here. Whitey Butt Me says RE3 remake makes me sad because RE3 OG is my favorite in the series, and the remake missed everything that made the original super fun. Yeah, I mean, we can agree to disagree. It's all good. I mean, I my opinion on 3 remake is different than most people, and I played it. So recently played RE2 remake. It was fun. I'll play RE3. Oh yeah, man, I think you'll really enjoy it. If you liked RE2, you'll like RE3. Wasn't she pregnant in this one? I don't think so. Maybe she was. Maybe like early on, but I don't think she was. No. Yeah, the first hour is the only action is the dog and the crow scene. Yeah, it's pretty slow. That's why this one's definitely a little bit under Apocalypse. At least Apocalypse was like 1-2 punch, like everything was going on in Raccoon City, so it's just like a whole thing. This is just more like she had to find them, she had to do all that stuff. Welcome to Fantastic. She was pregnant. This was 2007, and that's when she had her kid. Oh, okay. Well, maybe she was. I just don't. I didn't know that deep into it. He's like, I'm proud to say that. LJ gonna bite Johnny Cage. I know, right? He's looking pretty fucking dead right now. Where are the stripper zombies? Yeah, I know, right? They're left in Raccoon City in the rubble. Alright, this is Chase's finale here. Yep. Let the good times roll. She knows, like, shit's about to go down. Oh shit. She knows. And now, here they come. I like how they just have fucking, like, infinite amount of fucking test subjects in there. Hell yeah. The man. Chase holding it down, Johnny Cage style. Yeah. Second favorite scene right here. Just because there's actual shit going on. Alice starts snapping. There's so many of them coming out of the cage. They're still coming out of the container. Our boy LJ already looks fucking dead. Claire's just pissed off. Whew. The clown container, yeah. Jump scare for the trailer right here. It's a shame that the rest of their survivors got fucked up here, too. They really pretty much just brought him here to die. Ooh. Deadski. What's up, Fran? Says, hey, how's John doing? John's just doing his own thing. Doing his channel stuff. I know, right? Like, he's just like, dude, what? No one noticed LJ's face, like, straight up dead. Zombie gets stabbed. Ow! And now she's shut down. Damn, Leon's about to get fucked up. There's still so many zombies. And fake Leon's dead. Jay Sanchez says, what's up, Ant? It's been a minute since I've caught a live stream, unfortunately. That working retail during holiday life. Oh, yeah. Hope all is well. Yeah, hope all is well with you too, man. They can see through her eyes like a camera. How does that work? Yeah, never really explained. Because even if you have control over them, why can they see through her eyes like a fucking first-person game? He tries. He's got the Magnum and everything. Let's go! Oof. Dead. Went out like a badass, I guess, just to hit himself in the fucking metal. Yeah, LJ did Carlos in. And someone did bring this up in a comment section. They were like, if he's... Because he got the vaccine in Apocalypse, right? By Alice. So why is he getting affected now? Unless, like, it just doesn't work anymore? Because he got bit in Apocalypse and he was fine. I know they don't have it on deck, but... I always love that shot just because of a short. Just because there was a short, I have complete control. Budget for script writing, $100. Budget for zooming out in space to show Umbrella satellite, 40 mil. Sink. I'm going to hack her eyes. Shut her down. A little too late. Give me the antivirus. Remember, me and my friends used to just quote that all the time. There you go. And now, the transcending to the shittier part of the film, which is the shitty tyrant. Neo Nerd Gaming says, "Hey man, hope it's well. Happy New Year. I must say, I love your podcast, man. I listen to them while I'm at work. I bought Let's Talk Resident Evil T-shirt. Keep up the great work." Oh, thanks, Neo, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for repping the merch. We do got merch, so LTRE.store. Yo, Neo, Let's Talk Resident Evil hat. I know. Unfortunately, spring doesn't have fucking hats, but yeah, this right here, that little fucking fingernail thing, like the Tyrant doesn't have that. Tyrant has claws, but that's not like, that's just a bad, man. It's just bad. The OG Tyrant was something they really should have got right. Because, like, they got Nemesis down, so you always thought that, like, they would have gotten, but not to mention they fucking make this guy talk, while he's the Tyrant, which is just strange. But what do you mean it's too late? In Apocalypse, he literally got bit, like, hours ago, and he survived, you know what I mean? But maybe she did give him the antivirus thing ahead of time. They could never bang. He wanted to cuck his wife, but he did not. That's what Paul Anderson likes to do. Isn't Alice immune to it, so she can't give her blood? Yeah, I don't know. They never really explain the science behind that shit. You just know that she's immune to it, but again, it's weird because like he has the antivirus already in him from the last film, so I guess it just doesn't matter anymore. All right, at least Carlos goes out like a badass. He tried. There's the joint. LJ, you sneaky son of a bitch. That's like my favorite line in this film. I like how he lights the fucking. He just lights it as he lights the joint. He's like, all right, last round. Yeah. He's like, I'm done. Yeah. Go out like a badass. Until he gets cloned 2 movies later. Yeah. Yep. They had to bring him back. That was such a weird like sequence, right? When they brought him back and they brought back Michelle Rodriguez and now this is the final showdown. I gotta stop this fucking tyrant. And she finds the mass grave of herself. Why do they have a town of clones? I think it's like I think he just wanted to dump all the bodies because he was supposed to be, I guess, experimenting on, or wasn't supposed to be experimenting on them, or trying to recreate Project Alice like he has been. And now to the Hive, or the underground facility, really, the new Hive, the Tyrant Hive. Conveniently placed flashlight is convenient. bloody lab. I meant in the first two films, the clones of okay, I know what you mean. And the two films after, you mean? Okay. Yeah, I don't even know. I think it was like some kind of simulation or something. I'm trying to remember why the fuck were they around. Retribution, it's been a while since I fucking watched Retribution. Um, dun, dun. Not really. If there's more money to be made at the box office, it won't be fixed. They were made to run simulations, and they had a few to use as security. Yeah, yeah. And then I'm trying to think, because like what Rambo was asking about, like the clones in Retribution. I forget if they were like clones, or if it was part of a simulate. I forget, guys. There's so many damn clones back and forth these movies. He's like, thanks, bitch. All this build up for a shitty tyrant fight, in my opinion. Her blood is a cure for all this, but I guess not for Carlos. Exactly. It's like, will Wesker eat the kids? Who knows? Wesker's barely fucking. Wesker gets killed by a door, okay? In the final version of, the final chapter, so. Can't help him there. But what she will do is she will take a bunch of these clones and run them into the next film, Afterlife, because that's pretty much what she does. So that's kind of what this is alluding to. There he is. Oh! He runs away like a bitch. Like, I don't know. Like, he just could have looked so much better. He just looks like a shitty tyrant here. There's got to be more clones. Always more clones. This is Paul Anderson's universe, after all. There you go. It's their old house. No way. Not her and Spencer. Yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't lack the punch that a tyrant should. The face isn't like terrible, but this though, like the tentacles wrapping around. That's not tyrant. That the tyrant doesn't do that. That. Damn. She fights back because she's psychic. Remember the movie where it ends with the ready to fight monsters at the White House, and then it never happens in the next one? Oh my god, yeah. Literally, Wesker's at the White House. It fucking ends on a cliffhanger, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, ignore that. And that's what Final Chapter was. It was just like, ignore that, and this is what we're doing now. And it's like, why? I can't die. Like, you should not have made him talk. You should make Dr. Isaacs leave his OG form. In the laser room, you can. Yeah, like Nemesis should be the only tyrant that actually like talks, you know? It doesn't really make sense for the tyrant to talk. Another asshole. But it's okay, because that's not the real Dr. Isaacs. This was just a clone the whole time, the whole movie, guys. Which, you know, originally they killed his ass off. But they were like, oh no. Let's bring it back. Now, they did keep with the theme of, like, you know, Wesker was in Tokyo, or the real Wesker, before they recasted him, but... with my bloody Sony Vaio. The actually to be honest with you, it's funny because Afterlife is definitely even a worse film than this one, but at least with Afterlife, between this film and Afterlife, it does kind of make a little bit more sense because it picks up right when she's attacking with the clones. So there isn't that weird, like, you just assume she just goes right to Tokyo. But how the fuck did she get there? I guess, I don't know. And they're all starting to wake up. And that's Resident Evil Extinction. So, not a perfect film, kind of a slower Resident Evil film. But I figured this would be kind of cool to do before, the initial review. I mean, I kind of talk about it more. There'll be positives and negatives, to each of these. I think that's why covering them definitively, because I don't think, I've ever done it to the full completion, only done the first one, Apocalypse. So, putting at least the review stamp on them, everything will be at least refreshed, but and Mike Epps. Yeah, it's basically, I mean, I don't think they all have Jedi powers. I think she does, but because they just seem to kind of be like more super soldiers. I don't think she has, like in the first couple scenes of Afterlife, I don't really think it's showcased that those clones have her power because she's the definitive Alice. So, loosely based on the game. Yeah, that's what I should have said. But yeah, thanks for listening to the commentary. God. I'm yawning. But thank you for listening to the commentary and watching it live as I just sit here and blankly stare into a screen. Paul Wild Stallions Anderson does it again. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's it's just very funny how he takes different influences and tries certain things, and a lot of times it doesn't work. He definitely was a fan of just like looking at a trope and being like, hey, all right, can I copy that? Or, walking into a scene of his nephew playing Resident Evil and he's like, oh, okay, I got to put that in the movie, So it's like very like weirdly pieced together for no fucking reason, But it kind of gets worse from here, guys. It gets more and more clusterfucked and just like on all angles. And that's why I'm going to just review them, and I'll explain why I feel that way. But I know that fans that watch the show or the videos, that might feel either way. It's fine. We can agree to disagree. It's not a problem, But, seeing these in the theater, and I remember I got the DVD when it came out in early 2008, because that was back when you had to wait months for DVDs, even back then. You actually had to wait. And I remember getting this, watching this again, and I didn't actually own them physically until years later, the rest of them anyway, on Blu-ray. So got the Blu-ray, but the 4K of this does look good. As I expected, it's more of like the brighter film. It's probably the brightest film. The other ones kind of have a darker tone to it, and they're not in daylight. They're at night or whatever. So very interesting. And it's very interesting to see, the shit that they didn't necessarily like have planned. Like, they intended just to kill off Dr. Isaacs, but then they were like, nah, let's bring him back and let's make it to where he never died. And it's like, were you guys just running out of fucking ideas, or like what was actually going on? And that's really what I don't understand, is like where they thought that was a good idea and where they thought to end it on such a dumbass note with like so much shit going wrong by the end of that final chapter, and that's why I think that will be the biggest like raging commentary, because that shit will be just. But it does get worse. Who would disagree? That's true. Some people champion all the live action films. Some people, like me, prefer the first three over the rest. But yeah, they had crow trainers. Yeah, because they probably used real crows for the close up shots. So you couldn't tell it was obviously CG. But yeah, I mean, as always, I just try to give an honest opinion, and I know that some people will say the same thing about the games or whatever. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think that it definitely just drops. And, once you start going for the gimmicks, you start reaching for the wrong things. And, you just start doing really weird shit to characters. And, Jill literally doesn't even show up until the credit scene of Afterlife, which leads into Retribution. And it's like, why did we have to wait that long, Just a lot of things that I hated, that I wanted to see differently. Even in Afterlife, I remember seeing that in the theater in 2010 and still being disappointed, because I was like, man, I wanted Jill to come in like earlier, and what the fuck is with just them still having Kmart, and then they introduce Chris Redfield, and then Chris Redfield's gone by the next film, and they don't explain it, Rambo, that pretty much sums it up. You think they're doing something nice, but then they just screw it up with Welcome to Raccoon City. And final chapter is like an epileptic seizure, but we'll definitely, we'll experience the seizure together once we do once we cover it here and do the commentary. But yeah, so that's it for Resident Evil Extinction for the commentary. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you are watching this on the YouTube. And just stay tuned for the Extinction review. Again, you might be like, shit, where's the Extinction review? Well, it's coming. I have another LTRE show in the pipeline that's going to come out first, and then there'll be an Extinction review. But I just thought this would be fun to kind of fill in the live stream. So I did watch it in 3D too, and the 3D was only cool in some aspects, but it wasn't enough to be a whole thing. So, but anyway, that's it, guys. So thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little bit. Hope you guys, are well. Hope you had a good holiday and everything. I know this is the first live stream of the new year, so way to watch it with, way to start it off with a live stream watch along of Extinction. But yeah, so stay tuned for more. There's going to be more Tormented Souls later this week. With part 3. So we have been making our way through Tormented Souls. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the podcast, and more content coming your way soon. We'll catch up.